Welcome back on this chilly Friday morning. Hot Mic rolls on WDAY Extra. Sam Getzinger filling in for Dom Izzo today. He'll be back with you on Monday. Going to talk some high school hoops here because there is a really good team around our area right now. One of the hottest teams in the state, in my opinion. Central Cass has been on an absolute tear out of Region 1, Division A. Happy to welcome in Central Cass boys basketball head coach Matt Norman joining us on this Friday morning. We caught him on the bus on his way up to Devil's Lake. Coach, I hope you're having a good trip. I hope that bus is a warm one.
Yeah, we're warm so far. So, we're just excited to be able to get on the road and play some more ball. Appreciate you having us on today.
Absolutely. Got to talk about what you guys have been up to this season because it has been really fun to watch. We had your guys' game against Kindred as our game of the week on Tuesday. We'll get to that in a little bit. But 8-1 start to the year, a win streak right now. 9 games into the season. What's your assessment on where things are at with Squirrels basketball?
We're doing a nice job. What I'm really impressed with the boys is that their attention to detail seems to be getting more and more sharp as we go from game to game. We're 10 games in. Actually, we played a game in Minnesota against a really good St. Peter's team. They beat us at Concordia. But it's just been a blast. They're such great kids. They're super energetic. They're here for one another too, which makes practice really, really fun and super competitive. And so hopefully we can kind of continue to string together some successes.
No doubt. Let's go back and talk about that game from Tuesday. Of course, Central Cass taking on Kindred. That's a rivalry game. The storylines write themselves in that one. And you guys came out firing on all cylinders, 65-46 final score. Describe what went into that game to get the win against a really good Vikings team.
You're right. It's a great Kindred team. They're well coached, and they're going to be trouble for us when we catch them again on the turn of our season. Our mission going in was to make sure that we were the aggressor from the tip. We didn't want Kindred to be able to get into their offense to really be able to attack us. They've got a lot of good sets that get them some clean looks, and they do a nice job transitioning the ball too. So we knew that our defensive transition had to be clean. We had to really, really be on the ball when it came to covering up any rebounds they would get. And then we wanted to be able to pressure them full court. And credit to the boys, they did a nice job of executing that game plan.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys played them 3 times last year, right? And Kindred got the best of them all 3 times. And this was the first win against the Vikings since 2023. How big of a confidence boost was this? Or what was the feeling after the game, after that final buzzer sounded?
It's a blast. Kindred has been such a successful team here over the last few years, and even before our 2023 game with them. And so to beat a quality program, obviously that's a feather in your cap, so to speak. But we've got to make sure that we don't just rest on our laurels here. Yep, we got 1 win in the beginning half of our season. Region 1 is going to be tough, and so we've got to celebrate it, absolutely. But we're going to see them again, and it could easily be us on the other end if we're not careful and we're not diligent.
You and I were talking off air before you came on this morning. Brooks Bacco is a challenge in and of itself. He's a really good ball player. How did you guys handle him on that game on Tuesday?
You're right. He's a very, very good athlete and a very good basketball player. So he's going to be a problem for any team that Kindred plays. We knew that he had to work hard to get his average. So we wanted to diminish his efficiency a little bit, make him get, contested looks. We threw 3 different guys at him. I thought, Andrew Zemer, Zane Blixt, and Blaze Cotton did a great job of making sure that they defended him right from the catch. And then we tried to run some extra bodies to just keep him out of rhythm a little bit. He's a fun kid to watch. It's a little frustrating as he's had success against us. And he still had success, when we played him on Tuesday. We finished with a double-double with some extra points and rebounds to spare.
It's one of those games and against one of those guys where he's going to get his, you got to contain everybody else. I feel like that's the case when you go up against Bacco and Kindred, that's for sure. I remember covering you guys last year and thinking, okay, this team's got talent, but they're pretty young. And now they have a year of varsity basketball under their belts. 2 seniors on the squad, 3 juniors, and the rest are sophomores, freshmen. You told me you got an 8th grader on there as well. Where's the growth from last year to this year in your mind?
they're all basketball guys, and so they spend a lot of time. At least most of them spend a lot of time in the gym in the off season. They're really, really dedicated to making sure they get their skills where we need them to be. The biggest difference is we're another year older, another year more physical. We're still young, so we still have some inconsistencies that we have to hammer out. But it's just fun to see them reap some of the reward. Like we talked about earlier, the season is still super young. So we've got a lot of things to continue to work on to make sure we're putting one foot in front of the other. But last year we got nicknamed by a YouTube crew doing our live stream in Wahpeton, Brody Runk and his daycare. Brody was our lone senior last year, and we kind of embraced that early on. And so Brody did a great job shepherding us through last year. This year, we've got our three captains in Easton Holland, Casper Renz, and Andrew Zima that have kind of taken off where Brody left us. And it's really fun to see them find success, some more success.
For those that haven't seen Central Cass basketball this season, what would you say you guys pride yourselves on? You want to go on the court each night and do what? What would you say is the team identity this year?
Yeah, we want to create extra possessions. And so we're going to play, full court defense. We're going to do our best to create a high tempo game. We're blessed to be able to go 9, 10 kids into our bench every night. And we do it on purpose. And so we can stay fresh if we play a high intensity game. We also have to share the basketball. We got a lot of kids that do a nice job scoring, but if we can pass up average shots for great shots, especially with our depth, we can be a matchup problem for teams.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Again, Matt Norman, the head coach of Central Cass boys basketball, joining us here on this Friday morning. I know you got the whole team sitting behind you. Give some of them flowers. Who's standing out to you this season?
Man, a lot of kids. I mentioned our captains. Easton Cash and Andrew Ziemer have been doing a great job. Each of them averaging over 13 points a game, which is huge. Andrew Ziemer is sharing the ball really, really well. He's our point guard. He runs our offense for us, and he's at about 6.5 assists a game. Easton does a great job defending the block for us and averaging over 3 rebounds a game. And Cash can be just instant offense. We played a tough game against the Lisbon team, and Cash was our leading rebounder. And so their willingness to sacrifice for the greater good is unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's tough to just stop at 3. We've got a ton of kids, in Keegan Peterson, Cole Boer stretches the floor so well for us. And like we mentioned, Zane, Ben Nelson, super physical force for us. Jackson Deutsch brings a ton of length and energy. Blaze Cotton is a great athlete. That's the best part of Central Cass basketball right now is we're blessed with that depth.
Yeah, depth is really important, and it's ever crucial as we get closer to postseason play. You touched on Region 1 just a couple of moments ago. 6 out of the 7 teams are well above 500 right now. Region 1 basketball in Division A is really good, isn't it?
It's great. It's my favorite. I'm biased, but it's my favorite. It's my favorite basketball in the state. I think we see a lot of back and forth, a lot of teams that are able to trade games. And so when we hit that end of February, beginning of March, it's going to be interesting to see how everything shuffles as far as seeding going into the region tournament. We're happy that, as of now, we're undefeated in the region, but there's a great chance that changes if we aren't super diligent because there's a lot of quality teams that are well coached with great kids they're there to win basketball games.
Mm-hmm. One more before I let you go. I think one of the last few times we had you on was right when the 3-class system was being implemented in boys basketball. We're a couple of years into this now. What are your thoughts on where everything's at with the 3-class system for North Dakota?
I like it. As a 3-class system, I've already kind of said I'm a little biased. It allows us to keep a level of play that is super consistent. We're also getting 3 games most nights where we play a full JV and C squad schedule. And so that is definitely a blessing. And I think it makes our region tournaments even more competitive as we get into March. I also appreciate that the 3rd and 4th place game in the region tournament is no longer, I don't want to say it was for nothing before, but it was our chance to, maybe get a look at the next team. And it's very important to give the seniors their last shout out. Mm-hmm. But now that 3rd and 4th place game gets you into a challenge game. Mm-hmm. And we go play a team from Region 2. see if you can get yourself into the state tournament. I'd like to see us maybe rotate from just north-south to an east-west challenge game, but I understand the logistics of that. But it's been a blast. It really has.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch over the last couple of years. Some really good basketball in all three divisions. I lied. I got another one for you. You got rugby in Turtle Mountain this week. What's the scouting report coming up on the next couple of games here?
Yeah, it's going to be a really great weekend in Devil's Lake for us. We play rugby. They're really, really scrappy. They got a couple kids that shoot it pretty well. And so defensively, we got to make sure that we lock in. And again, like we mentioned, we want to push some tempo. We want to see if we can get them up and down the floor a little bit and capitalize on some of our depth. Turtle Mountain has had a great start to the year. I think they're 8-2 as well, with their losses being pretty contested games against quality teams. And so I love times like this in the season. We play a tough game on Tuesday, and now we go back-to-back games Friday, Saturday, kind of help us create that region tournament feel, where you get a tough game followed by two quick ones. Mm-hmm. And so this will be a good measuring stick to see where we're at. And hopefully we can go 1-0 in each game and make sure that we're pushing forward.
No doubt. Is everybody sleeping behind you? I haven't heard one yell since we got on the Zoom call here.
We're lucky with good parents too. So they gave us some donuts before we left.
Good deal.
And most of the kids are trying to get their extra sleep here.
Good deal. Good deal. Well, have a safe trip up to Devil's Lake, and of course, getting back home. I know you guys got a busy weekend, rugby and Turtle Mountain on the schedule. Best of luck in those games, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. Thanks so much.
Not a problem. Matt Norman from Central Cast joining us here on this Friday morning edition of Hot Mic. Big weekend coming up for them. As I mentioned, they got a couple of games up in DL, rugby, Turtle Mountain, and then he told me they're going to come back and help host the youth tournament they have over at Central Cast on Sunday. So it is a busy weekend for Central Cast boys basketball, who has been on a tear as of late. It's been really fun to see what they've been doing this season, and we'll see what they do as we get closer to region play and the state tournaments, which is right around the corner. But that win against Kindred, that'll turn some heads, no doubt, especially in the fashion that they did at 65-46. I'm not good at math. What is that, 19-point win over the top team in the state, the defending state champions? Tip of the cap to that. So big thank you to Matt Norman for joining us on this Friday morning. We are due for a break. Let's get to that. When we come back, the updated ESPN bracketology for both men's and women's in the NCAA, that is out. We'll take a look at that and see where the Bison are in the latest update. We'll also get an update on the Wolves. And reminder for you, we're talking hockey in hour number 2. That's coming up next on this Friday morning.